This tutorial is a complete beginner's guide to using text on PS5 ShareFactory Studio and will help you understand how to use text in your gaming videos. Whether you're adding titles, captions, shoutouts or thumbnails, this complete guide will show you everything you need to know, so by the end of the video you will know all about using text on ShareFactory Studio, including adding text, colours, effects, animations, etc. So perfect if you're just getting started or brushing up on your text skills. I've added full chapters in the video description so you can jump to any section you want, so let's get into it. This video is broken down into sections, so let's start with how to add text to your video projects. Now this is focused on video projects because photo projects are very much the same. So on the main menu, let's move across to the video editor and then down to new project. And here we will see 18 creator packs that we can choose from. Each creator pack has its own text font styles. So you can only see the text font style for that actual creator pack that you've chosen. You can't see all the others, which is really frustrating because you want to have a good selection to choose from. So to make things easier and quicker for you, I do have them all listed and shown on my website, NoMoreNoobie.com. So just click on the link in the description and that will take you straight to that, and it will save you a lot of time in choosing the fonts you want. So I'm going to choose the Cyberpunk creator pack for this example, and we can choose whichever videos we want. I'm going to go with the pre-selected ones and I'm not going to bother renaming the project just for this example. So this is the clips that we've got on there. You can just move the timeline to wherever you want and you push the X button to add something, and we're going to choose add overlay. When you choose that, you come up with the font options and you've got the text bits here, and you've got standard text or the actual creator pack, in this example Cyberpunk text. So these are all the standard text options that you could choose from, or you could go down to the Cyberpunk or the creator pack that you've chosen and choose which one you want from there. So it's totally up to you, and you've got various options for each creator pack. Some have more, some have others. Now to get to that point from another way, if you already had a video existing, you could go into my projects and we can show you how to do it that way. So I'm going to choose a project that I want to go back to, and here's a project that I want to use, and I'm just going to go on that, and again exactly the same thing. I'm going to choose where I want to start or where I want to add my text, and using the timeline, and then I'm just going to position that once I've got it to where I want. For example, at the beginning of this clip, push the X button, and then that will give us the options of adding something, and then we can go to add overlay and push X on that, and then again we're back to where the text is. So that's just the two different ways of getting to the same point, whether you've got an existing project or you're starting a new project. Okay, so I'm going to just choose this text font here, so press X on that, and then you just need to type in the word that you want to use. So for this example, you could put a sentence. I'm just going to put wait, and then click on done. And then you can change the duration to whatever you want it to be, but we can come back to that as well. So that's how to add text, but there's still lots more to do. So let's look at how to transform text. So transforming text is just literally changing it about to how we want it. So you can see there's an option here in the text menu, and that's transform. So if we went on to transform, we can move it around to wherever we want using the left stick. We can make it bigger and smaller, but we're limited because we can only do transform stuff. And you see all these other options here, so we can get into those in a second. But to transform, we're using the left stick to move them around. We can make it bigger or smaller. So if we want to make it smaller, we use R1, make it bigger using R1 on the controller, and then that's as big as it will go there. And then we can obviously keep moving it around using the left stick. We can rotate it using L2 and R2. And then the other option that we can do is we can use the align function, which is where if you've got various bits of text, you can align it to certain parts of the screen. So we use the triangle on the controller to move it to align to the top, middle or bottom. Or if we wanted to go left, middle and right, we'd use the square buttons to go left, middle or right. There is the other align button we'll show you, but I like doing the transform and the align in the transform section. So maybe consider that when you're doing yours. So that's how to transform text. Now let's have a look at how to change text opacity. Now in the text menu we can just go across to opacity, and using the left stick we can move the cursor left or right, and going all the way to the left will make it more transparent, all the way to the right less transparent. And once you're happy with it, you just push the X button to confirm. Let's go back to the text menu, and there is a second option. If we go into color, we can also change opacity in the color section as well. So you can change the color exactly how you want it, and then using the D-pad you can move the opacity all the way to the left or to the right, again to change the transparency for you. Now let's take a look at how to change text color in ShareFactory. So looking at the text menu, we go across to color, and you've got all these options: hue, saturation, brightness, and opacity. So I would always start with the saturation, bring that all the way up to 100, and then it makes it a lot easier to see the color that you're choosing when you're looking at the hue section. And all these movements, you use the D-pad left and right to adjust it as you want to. Then you can go back down and adjust the saturation if you want to. And then underneath that you've got the brightness, so obviously making it lighter or darker. And then underneath that you've got the opacity to make it transparent, more transparent or less transparent. So looking at the end of each bar, you see they've got a number. If you find colors that you like to use, try and make a note of the numbers of each level, and then it'll help you using it in the future. These boxes along here are all set colors that are always sat there. And then these last four boxes on the side, these are the most recently used colors. So if you've got a color you use quite often, it will often be sat in there, and you can just go straight onto it and select it there instead of adjusting it each time if you prefer. Adding text effects on ShareFactory is nice and easy. In the text menu, just go to text effects, and then you've got all these different options, and you can see each time you go on to one, it changes what it looks like on the text that's existing on the screen. Now obviously you do need to have text on the screen in order to get to this point, so you can just scroll through. There's quite a few options, and then you just choose whichever you want, and once you get to it, push the X button on the one you want, and then that will confirm it and keep it as that until you change it again. Changing the text duration on ShareFactory is nice and easy. Just go to text duration on the text menu here and push the X to confirm it, and you're using on the controller the left stick to change the starting point of the text and the right stick to change the ending point of the text. And if you use the L1 and L2, that will fine trim the start, and the R1 and R2 buttons on the controller will fine trim the end. If you want to reset it, you push the square button, and you can push the X button to confirm it once you've got it how you want it. You can add animations to your ShareFactory text. So go to text animation in the text menu, and you can add animations to beginning, middle or ending. So choosing the beginning to start with, you've got 11 animation options here, and if you just stop on whichever one, you will see it will show you what it looks like if you were to choose that option. So you can just go down, have a little look at them, and just choose which one you want. If you choose one, you just push the X to confirm it, and that will add it. If you go back up to the top, you can select none, and that won't give an animation at all. Once you're happy, you just push the X button on whichever one you confirm, and that will add the animation to the beginning of the text. Then you can go to middle animation, and you've got 8 options to choose from in this option here. Same again, if you just stay on it, it will show you what the animation will look like. So you can just choose whichever one you want. You've got bounce, marquee, wave, spin. Again, you can choose no animation if you want to. And then lastly, we've got the ending animation, and you've got similar sort of options as the beginning. It's just sometimes the opposite. Again, hover on it if you want to. Now do note that different animations take longer, so it might be that you have to extend how long the text is on screen for the animation to complete. So you're going to have to change the duration sometimes depending on which animations you use. So if we've already got some text on our project but we want to change it, how do we do it? Well, instead of pushing the plus button to add something, we're going to push the square button to change something, because we've already got the text there. We want to change it, so we push the square button and go to Edit Overlays. We push the X to confirm, and then it brings us to this screen. Now we want to push the square again because we want to change the text that's on screen, and we've got all the options that we know we can do to change or use to change the text that we want. So we can transform it or change the colors or whatever we want to do. Now you'll notice that we have two sets of text and one of them has a red box around it. So the text that has the red box around it is the one that we can change. So we've gone on to this one here. We're going to change the color to yellow and you see it changes just that one. Now if we use the keypad or the D-pad on the controller, we can scroll between the two different texts. So let's change the other text, the one with the red box around it. Again, we're going to change that. We'll just change the color to a different color, whichever one, and confirm, and you see that change that color. So that's how to edit text. So if you've got some text on your ShareFactory project but you want to delete it, all you need to do is go onto the clip where the text sits and then just find the text and push the square button and go to Edit Overlays. Now in this example we've got 3 different texts because they were all added separately, so we need to delete them separately. And if you use the D-pad on the controller you can scroll between them. The one with the red box is the one we are editing, and if we go on to Delete Text and confirm, that will delete that text. Now again, we want to delete another one, push the square button and go to delete text, and then we just confirm, and then for the last one again push the square button, click on delete text and confirm. And that's it. Nice and easy how to delete text from your ShareFactory project. So ShareFactory Studio has the option of layering your text, and what that means is if you've got multiple text on your screen, you can move them about so that one sits behind the other, or one goes in front of the other, so you can change the layer of the text. You can move it around first of all to get it how you want it by pushing the square and then going to transform. So you can just move it about how you want it, and then if you want to layer the text, you just need to move the red box to which text you want to change, push the square button, go to Layer Order, and then you can use the L1 or R1 to move that text up and down. And if you move it up, then it's going to go in front of the text. So if you see on the left hand side there's that column, if you move it to the top, it'll mean it'll be on top of all the other text. Let's show you that in a better way of seeing it. So I've added a sticker here which is just a speech bubble, and you can see on the left hand side we've got a speech bubble showing there as well, and then we've also got the text that I've added, and again that's shown on the left hand side. So at the moment I've got the red box around the text, and I can go to Layer Order, and then I can just push the L1 or R1 to change the level. So now I've moved the text to above the speech bubble, and you can see on the left hand side it's now on top, therefore it is above the speech bubble and will show on top of that. So then we can just go back to transform, change the text to the right size, and there you go, it's within the speech bubble, and that's added that on top of the speech bubble. Hopefully that explains layering of text in ShareFactory clearly enough. There may be times when you want to align your text either with other text or certain points in the screen, so you could go top, middle, bottom, left, middle and right. So you go on to the text menu and then you go across to align and push X on that, and then you've got the options here to align left, align middle or align center, and align right. So on this screen, strangely on the align section, that's the only options it gives you, which is really strange, because if you went into transform, you can see down the bottom it's got a square and a triangle, and that gives you the options of going left, middle and right, but also top, middle or bottom. So if you use the square, you can go left, middle or right. And then if you use a triangle, you can go top, middle or bottom. So that's just showing you that on the screen now. So you could get it however you want out of those options, but it gives you more options doing it that way. And that's how to align text in ShareFactory. Just in case you didn't know, you can actually use your controller as a sensor to type your text. So you could add your text as you normally would, choose the font, get to the point where this keyboard is on screen, and then instead of using the D-pad to flip between all the letters that you want to add, what you can do, so this is how it is normally, you can just flick between them, but if you go to this button at the bottom, you all click R3, it changes your controller into a sensor and you can just add the letters that you want to from there. If you want to turn it off, just push R3 again or push circle and it will take you off of there. But it's nice to have an option, and a lot of people really do like this method, so totally up to you to try. Following on from that, you can speed up adding text by using a keyboard. All you have to do is plug in any keyboard to your PS5 and straight away it will come up showing that a keyboard has been added, and you can type away using the keyboard, adding your text to your project. So much quicker. I'm sure if you add a lot of text, you'll find this a lot quicker as well. I use it all the time, and I hope you found this useful. On screen's the video to watch next. If you found this useful, please hit the like button, and thanks very much for watching. Thanks.